I like to give something a title before I go into it. I mean,
Okay, what title would you give it?
Yeah, what would you,
so the title I might give, like, my experience of being consecrated to Our Lady. Let's do that.
whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I can just begin?
Yeah.
Friends, I'd like to talk to you today about the importance of consecration to Our Lady. When I first heard about being consecrated to Our Lady, I heard about it while reading a biography of Pope John Paul II. He was a pope greatly devoted to Our Lady, and he talked about in his life, he referenced the importance of being totally devoted to Our Lady. In fact, his motto was totus tuus, totally yours. And that led me to read the Devotion to Our Lady by St. Louis de Montfort, the total consecration to Our Lady, his magnum opus. And I admit that it wasn't the easiest read, and the language was very baroque, very fancy, but there was something in there that really touched me, and that combined with the fact that a great many of the people of faith that I considered the elite, the Pope John Pauls of the world, the Scott Hahns of the world, the people really pushing for the faith, pushing for God's kingdom, they were all consecrated. And so I undertook that. The first time was in 1997 in August on the feast day of Our Lady of the Assumption. And I will say that from that point that there was something different in my life. I felt much closer to Our Lady, and there was a kind of palpable intervention of her within my life, such that I knew that I was doing things with her assistance, but also in her service. That everything that I was doing was having a greater impact in the kingdom because she was directing it. And that was the experience of that was something I really felt, and it became something really important to me. And as the years would go on, I would of course renew it every year as one is supposed to. But I remember one year where my schedule was so extraordinarily busy that July that virtually all of it went by when I realized, my goodness, I'm late for my consecration. So I did a few days of preparation, but I really can't say that I renewed it in the proper way. In other words, the year kind of came and went by and I had forgotten to renew it. And when I checked my log, because I keep a log of the renewals of my consecration, I discovered it was actually 2 years that I missed. And so the previous year completely went by and I didn't even give it two thoughts. So this was completely out of character for me and not something that I wanted to occur. And I will say this, in that period of time, I felt the most distant to Our Lady that I had since I began the consecration. It was a great big chore to pray the Rosary, for example. It was something that I would do anything before doing that. I would make excuses to do some other activity. I renewed it, and I renew it every year, virtually every year in the same place. During the week of August 15th being the consecration day, and that of course being the solemnity of Our Lady of the Assumption, I go into the woods. I take a retreat that week alone in the woods, so in solitude. And I remember on the night of the 14th, so it would be at the time of the Vigil Mass, I just had one of the more strange experiences that I've ever had. And I was in a place that was just filled with mosquitoes. And that evening, I looked around and there was not a single one around, which was bizarre to say the least. I mean, it was eerie. It was remarkable. But not only that, there was something magical about the woods that I'm in all the time. I'm camping in solitude. I know that forest very well, and I know that spot very well in the fort. This was extraordinarily different. The place felt so hospitable. The earth felt like there was a peace emanating from it. That's the best way I can describe it. The experience was as if I was in Eden. There was an absolute total harmony of everything. And so I went to bed that night with this extraordinary sense of peace. And the next day, I woke up, I celebrated Mass, and I performed the consecration. I had lunch, I did more praying after lunch, and then I took a walk to the edge of the lake once more, just to give thanks to God for the experience of the previous evening. And in that moment, what I experienced was this absolute, beautiful, heavenly smell. A smell so extraordinarily good that it was absolutely otherworldly. Like there's nothing on earth that could produce that level of pleasure. It was a level of pleasure that was it was transcendent. And it had a feminine character to it. As I was experiencing it, I understood it to be the odor of Our Lady. And it was something like I had never experienced before. It was so profoundly touching and uplifting that it would be the kind of thing you would do anything to experience it again. So that was, in that moment, what I took from it was a thank you for Our Lady for being devoted to her and for taking seriously this consecration. Friends, my counsel to you would be to be very serious about a devotion to Our Lady, but consecrate yourselves. Read the book of consecration to Our Lady by St. Louis de Montfort. That'll tell you the why it needs to be done. He'll also inform you how it is to be done during that. And just do it. Do it and you will experience something extraordinary in your life. Our Lady will be able to use you in a profoundly touching way, in a way that is most effective for building God's kingdom. God bless you.